So today we are going to tackle the reasons why people abuse alcohol and other drugs. So here we are talking about the reason why people abuse alcohol and other drugs. Number one, we talked about frustration. People can be frustrated because they are unemployed. They do not have work. Or you can be frustrated because your friends are not talking to you. That is, they've jilted you. And then you end up using what? Drugs. Or even due to the level of poverty that your family has. Also, and we talked about it, another reason why people abuse alcohol and drugs is because you're idle. You're idle, you don't have, you have too much time that you're idle, that you have nothing constructive to do. So you tend to experiment with alcohol and drugs. Like for example, when we closed school the other time, we closed for how many months? 2. Or during the time for COVID, we stayed for how long? Yes. You could have, if you were not busy, that was the high time for you engaging in what? In drugs. If you were not busy with your studies or busy doing constructive work. Also giving too much money. So some parents give their children a lot of pocket money. So they have a lot of what? The children have a lot of money and they don't know how to use it. So they end up doing what? Using it for alcohol and other drugs. The parents who give you a lot of money, it's because maybe they want to feel that that parental love, because they are not able to give you the love because they are busy at their work. Therefore, they give you too much money. Sometimes, I'm not saying it's all in all cases. Also, due to financial stress, when you have little money or you have what? No money at all, that you cannot even be able to buy your basic necessities. The money that you get, you end up using it in drugs instead of doing what? Of doing it, using it in constructive manner, like paying off school fees. And bad examples from adults. So most of the teenagers who are using drugs, they say it's because their father is smoking. That's why I'm smoking. It's because my uncle. Most of the students usually say, I started because I saw my uncle doing it. Or my uncle is the one who gave me the first drink. Bad example from what? Adults. They also availability of drugs. They are available everywhere. Actually, that's why if you find out in our neighboring, around our school, there are no kiosks. Because any kiosks near a school, whether it's a primary school or a high school, they are selling drugs to students. It's really that if you look at that particular kiosk and it has few items to use in the house, and the kiosk manager or the owner doesn't even refrain from that area, we discovered that he's selling the drugs to students. Even the kiosk that was neighboring, almost at the junction there, they were selling kiosks. Then we told the principal told the chief to get it out of there. The person who was only allowed is the person who has a kiosk just there near the teacher's quarters. But now, even him is not in operation. Because they sell, they're available everywhere, drugs. They can even be sold on the street, even when you're in the vehicle, they are available. And then we also have negative peer pressure. So your peers can influence you to take drugs so that you can be able to do what? To fit in. You find out that if we find a student using drugs here in school, we found out that 3 of their friends are also using the drugs. One of them was not using, and then because you want to be associated with them, now you start doing what? Using drugs, which is not, you've been influenced to use it. There is also media influence, whereby for example, the media personalities who are very famous, they are using what? You see them using what? Drugs. And they use them without non-stop. For example, I didn't like the example of, it was called, the one who was sacked from the job the other day. He has like 2 years from being sacked. It's called Shafiweru. Shafiweru used to market for those alcohol companies like 24 hours. And they used to give him money, and he's a very bad media influence. There is also parental neglect for children, in that some parents are too busy with their work, doing their jobs, that they are not able to take care of their children well. You can be given by your parents your basic needs. They can give you whatever you need and the money, but they are not there for you. Therefore, for you to make sure that your parents are to, what is it called, what are it? So that you can attract that attention of the parent, you start using what? Drugs. Because when you start using drugs, they start talking to you and asking you, why are you using? Yes. If they are neglecting you and you're in school, the principal is going to call the parent. So that's the time, now the parents will start caring about you, which is a wrong move. Also, permissiveness in the society, and also breakdown of traditional African values, whereby as a society, even if I see a young student like Celestine using drugs, have you ever seen a parent picking that drug nowadays? Because this is too much freedom we've given the youth. You can see young boys who are smoking on the street and you don't ask anything. You don't even ask them, why are you doing this? You just leave them and you say they continue with their what? With whatever they are doing. Even nowadays in the social media, you can see students, yes, abusing drugs and they are posting. And it has a lot of views. And no one is commenting. They're saying that we are morally doing everything wrong. Everyone is liking it and asking, where are you? I come there. Yes, which is wrong. Yes.
Reasons why people abuse alcohol and other drugs. 1. Frustration. People indulge in alcohol and drugs in order to cope with frustrating situations. For example, young people jilted by their friends, unemployment, and inability to perform well in school, poverty and problems in the family. 2. Idleness is a cause of alcohol and drug abuse. When young people have too much time to themselves with nothing constructive to do, they tend to experiment with alcohol and drugs in order to get excitement. 3. Giving too much money to young people as pocket money without regulating its use is another cause of abuse of alcohol and drugs. Children with too much money usually buy alcohol and other drugs and share them with friends. Most parents are busy and tend to ignore their parental responsibilities in bringing up their children. So, as a way of making up their inability to be there for their children, parents end up giving their children too much money. 4. Financial stress. Those who have little or no money are likely to feel inadequate because of their inability to provide for their families. Young people in school may feel miserable because they do not have money to buy basic necessities. These frustrations may eventually lead people to become peddlers, pushers, and users of the drugs in an attempt to get money. 5. Bad examples from adults. In homes where parents drink and smoke openly, children tend to copy their parents' habit, hence they end up abusing alcohol and drugs. Availability of drugs in Kenyan markets. Some drugs are fairly cheap and within the reach of most users. Such drugs are sold in kiosks, marketplaces, in school and home neighborhood. Young people should avoid being tricked into using alcohol and drugs. They should choose their friends carefully and avoid those who are likely to mislead them. 6. Negative peer pressure. In many social gatherings, a person may be sidelined if they are not doing what the rest of the group is doing. A person may even lose friends if they refuse to take alcohol or abuse drugs. They are considered primitive and out of touch with reality. Most innocent young people end up abusing drugs and alcohol so that they may be accepted by their friends. 7. Media influence. Commercial advertising and movies promote abuse of alcohol and drugs by linking success and power to their consumption. Young people are influenced by the media to desire the character traits of the celebrities featured in advertisements and movies. Young people should be critical of what they see and read in the media and not regard it as the absolute truth. 8. Parental neglect of children. Some parents are unavailable for their children because they are either too busy or indifferent. Such children feel neglected and unloved. They may indulge in alcohol and drugs in order to get their parents' attention. They may also be attracted to groups of gangs where indulging in alcohol, drugs and crime is the norm. 9. Permissiveness and breakdown of traditional African values. Western culture has negatively influenced African traditional values. It has promoted individualism and lack of concern for the needs of others. Today, people believe that they have the right to do whatever pleases them without regard of the opinions of parents, elders, and others in authority. Hence, young people may feel that they have a right to indulge in alcohol and drugs because this makes them feel happy and their bodies are their own. However, it is important to know that we live in a community and whatever we do affects other members of the society.
Thank you.